Hello out there. It's a cold evening out here due to an early evening drizzle. The rains just won't go away this year. Anyway, it's a Wednesday evening and I am here to do what I do best on Wednesday nights. News Extra. Tonight is, as usual, a bumper harvest that we shall kickstart with governance from the executive arm of the legislature and the judiciary. Interesting stories. We have something on elections and politics. There are a lot of human angle stories, including an update on the infamous rape case in Kano 3 years ago. Of course, there are also a lot of stories from the business world, empowerment, health and sports. Now, that's just the general outlook. The real bulletin is much more interesting, so sit back and enjoy. It is as the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Umar Buba, and this is News Extra. President Muhammadu Buhari meets the management of Persing Education Group in London. A statement by Bashir Ahmed, personal assistant to the president on new media, says President Muhammadu Buhari was joined at the meeting by Nigeria's Minister of Education, Adamu, Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Rashid, and Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Justice Adishola Oguntunde, was also in attendance. In the meantime, Nigeria is now classified by the World Bank as a middle-class income country, just as the country's capital shares value in the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development rises to over $50 million. Also, Nigeria today joined 188 other countries that have signed the International Convention Against Doping in Sport, as the Federal Executive Council approves a draft bill to be sent to the National Assembly for the domestication of the law against doping in sports. State House correspondent Lydia Onifade reports on these and other deliberations at the Council's meeting this Wednesday.
Finance, Budget and National Planning Minister Zainab Ahmed says the ministry got approval for its request for additional capital increase for Nigeria at the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development.
The total value of this shares is in the sum of $50,637,747 The subscription, this additional subscription to the Brentwood institution by Nigeria is not just desirable, but it is also necessary to strengthen the country's position and enhance our voice in the global financial architecture.
She says the country has also been recognized and classified by the World Bank as middle-class income country by the reason of its GDP of over $387 billion and per capita income of $1,960 per head.
This makes Nigeria qualified for a blend status in the World Bank Group that gives the country a leverage and enables us to access some less restricted resources of the bank, both at the IBRD as well as at the IDA windows.
The Ministry of Transportation presented a memo for the approval of the award of contract for the construction of jetty at Bonny Island in Rivers State. This approval was sought and was duly given for a tune of $1.7 billion.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says two memos were presented before the Council by Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olalekan Adegbite, for approval for the ratification of the Statute of the Africa's Minerals Development Center.
This is a bill before the National Assembly to establish in Onitsha the National Metallurgical Training Institute. The institute has been operating without any enabling law since its establishment. So the purpose of today's memo was actually to send to the National Assembly a bill that will provide the legal framework for this institute.
The minister, also on behalf of the Minister of Sports, says a draft memo for approval for the domestication of the International Convention Against Doping in Sports was tabled before the Council.
Council approved for the draft bill today to be sent to the National Assembly. One of the major advantages is that it confers more recognition and more recognition for Nigeria in the sports industry.
Before the business of the day, members had a minute silence in honor of a one-time Minister of Petroleum Resources, Professor Tam David West, who passed on a few days ago. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Thank you, Jide. Under the current federal system in Nigeria, some capital projects fall under the purview of the federal government. However, there are cases where the state carries out such projects on behalf of the federal government. In such cases, the state is eventually refunded. Kogi State is one of such states being owed by the federal government, and the Senate at Wednesday's plenary approved a refund of 10.06 billion naira to the state. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The Senate had received the presidential request for the approval of the sum of 10.69 billion naira on the 15th of October 2019, as it is the only state in its batch that did not receive its own refund. The funds were said to have been spent on capital projects, mainly road reconstructions. The request was considered by the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts.
The state government has completed all the projects which it is seeking for a refund. The state government has paid all contractors that executed the highway projects.
Because it is for the people of Kogi State.
We have done justice to others, and we have to do justice to Kogi State. It doesn't matter when this justice is coming. This justice has to be done.
Senate had mandated its Committee on Women Affairs, Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, and that of National Security and Intelligence to carry out investigative hearing on child trafficking in Nigeria and proffer solutions within 2 weeks. Senator Jibrin Barau moved the motion.
That there are reported cases where children were kidnapped in the states of Gombe, FCT, Kano, and so on, and were sold to some willing buyers.
Mr. President, human trafficking is not just a problem in Nigeria. It is really a global problem.
2 higher institutions establishment bills were passed through second reading. They are Modibo Adama University Yola, sponsored by Senator Aishatu Dahiru, and Federal Polytechnic Aba by Senator Theodore Orji.
It's urgent that the university be transitioned into a conventional, multidisciplinary institution with programs that resonate with the locals.
The need for Abia Polytechnic to be upgraded is one of utmost importance to all. As it is now, it will serve as a stable federal polytechnic in the Niger Delta.
Senator Ekone Yagenyi drew the attention of the Senate to the urgent need to check piracy and banditry in the Gulf of Guinea and Nigeria internal waters.
Urge the federal government of Nigeria through Navy to deploy more naval personnel on the Oron coastal area.
The Senate mandated its Committee on Customs to meet with the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service towards improving the lives of those living across the border areas, as moved by Senator Tolu Odebi. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NT News.
The flaws in existing tax laws in Nigeria are numerous and of concern to stakeholders. Such laws deny government access to revenue on the one hand, and the results into double taxation on corporate entities on the other hand. The House of Representatives at Wednesday's plenary moved a step forward to correct these flaws as it passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Companies Income Tax Act. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
On the general principles of the bill, which seeks to provide incentives to investors, enhance the ease of doing business policy, and make the law more responsive to government's tax reform efforts, saw lawmakers at plenary highlighting the benefits of amending the taxation laws as it affects value-added tax, personal income tax, stamp duties, customs excise tariff, and petroleum profit tax, among others.
If you move to Dubai, for instance, those who are very much in the habit of going for holidays, they pay those taxes there, and they are happy to see the infrastructure development in that country. When they come back here, the first thing to do is to criticize the government that we are not doing, it's not happening. How now do we finance our budget?
A lot of international investors complain about the challenges in investment, particularly those old policies that encumber the processes of coming into the economy and getting things done, as speedily as possible. So this act seeks to review the existing laws to ensure that the processes are easier and faster.
The bill was thereafter referred to House Committee on Finance for further legislative action. A matter of urgent public importance on alleged illegality at the Niger Delta Development Commission from Nicholas Osai, which sought sanctions on the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, led to an observation and ruling by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila.
I think we should send it to the committee to investigate the issues that you have raised. Because so far, because I've heard a lot of these things too, but what I've heard from pages of newspapers, from TV reports, I cannot verify certain facts.
Wednesday's plenary featured the adoption of 8 motions, which include a need to curb the negative impact of crude oil spill in Nigeria and a call to end gas flaring by installing equipment for its capture. At the Committee of the Whole, House members considered and adopted reports on 3 bills, one of which effected amendments to the Nigerian Law Reform Act 2004. In the meantime, the Speaker, during an audience with management of the National Human Rights Commission, says the 9th House will give priority to human rights issues.
Human rights, everybody knows, must have a pride of place in any legislative arm or in government for that matter.
The Commission was led on the visit by the Executive Secretary from the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
For 40 years now, Nigerians are said to have slept on their rights in the lack of enforcement of Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which provides for the social and economic rights of the people. Now, legal and political experts have called on the people and all the 3 arms of government to ensure the enforcement of Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution. Femi Okeo reports.
Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution provides for what it calls the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. It was lifted from the 1979 Constitution, a section which provides for the social and economic rights of the citizens. But for 40 years now, these provisions have only remained on paper. Scholars say enforcement have remained a mirage because Nigerians have been taught to say that the section is not justiciable. At the 4th annual lecture of the Epiphany Azinge Foundation, experts in international and Nigerian laws debunked the notion of injusticiability. This group of experts was led by a Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Chima Nweze, who was the guest lecturer, and a renowned senior advocate of Nigeria, Chief Wole Olanikwekun.
Chapter 2 provisions remain viable instruments for the fight against corruption. That was how they retained the ICPC. So many people lampoon the Supreme Court and all that, but that has become the law.
Other experts urged Nigerians and the National Assembly to rise up through class action and taking advantage of the recent Supreme Court judgments to trigger the enforcement of the social economic rights of the people as enshrined in the Constitution, particularly now that a sitting government has promised to lift 100 million people out of poverty.
I think the time has come, and that is the advocacy we are leading. And we believe that the government of the day, both executive, judicial, and legislative arms, should come together in a consortium and try to breathe life and vitality to Chapter 2 of the Constitution.
Some scholars have even posited that if Chapter 2 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria's Constitution are well implemented, then Nigerians don't have to depend on the manifesto of any political party, and that these content of the Constitution already takes care of the welfare and economic development of Nigerians. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
Well, you're right, Femi. Now to other stories. Yobe State government plans to spend 108 billion naira in the 2020 fiscal year, with more emphasis on education sector. road construction, health, land and housing, as well as property development. Governor Mai Mala Buni disclosed this at the State House of Assembly while presenting the 2020 Finance and Appropriation Bills. Yunus Suleiman reports that the legislature has already passed the bills at first reading.
The 2020 budget of 108.4 billion naira has an increase of 16 billion naira to that of the 2019, a development Governor Mai Mala Buni attributed to his administration's renewed drive to implement far-reaching policies and programs that will transform the state and improve the living standard of the people. Tagged budget of continuity and consolidation, the sum of more than 58 billion naira or 53.5% was earmarked to cater for current expenditure, while 50.3 billion naira was allocated for capital expenditure. Governor Bunu said the budget will give priority to 4 key areas, which include education sector, 22.8 billion naira, works, transport and energy, 16 billion naira, health sector, 12.6 billion naira, land, housing and property development, 8.8 billion naira.
We have taken proactive approaches to addressing the challenges in our education sector, especially in primary and secondary education. We have organized and hosted an education summit, set up a technical committee on the revitalization of basic and secondary education, and resolved to implement the recommendations of the committee.
While presenting the 2019 budget scorecard, the governor explained that key social and infrastructural projects have been implemented, such as the payment of 3.8 billion naira gratuity to retirees, payment of 8.9 billion naira to fund the ongoing construction of International Cargo Airport, revival of 4 moribund industries, purchase of tractors, fertilizer, and contracts award for the construction of Damaturu Modern Market, as well as Potoskum Truck Transit Park. The Speaker, Yobe State House of Assembly, Ahmed Lawan Mirwa, assured the Governor of legislative support to ensure that the budget is passed in the shortest possible time in Damaturu. Yunus Suleiman, NTA News.
Now to a bit on politics. The political drama in Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress continues to unfold. The latest is the suspension of Godwin Obaseki of Edo State from the APC. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Task before the All Progressives Congress is how to secure victory in the November 16 governorship polls in Kogi and Bayelsa states. But another issue of concern for the party is the intra-party crisis rocking its Edo State chapter. Worried by this development, members of the Edo State executive of the APC were at the National Secretariat in Abuja, where they addressed journalists on some key decisions taken to restore peace.
We therefore pass a vote of implicit confidence on the National Chairman, Comrade Adams Aliu Oshomole, and the National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress. The only option is to protect the interests of all stakeholders who have labored assiduously to build up this party.
They promised to engage stakeholders in the pursuit of unity among members of the party in Edo State. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Now, at the mention of sniper, I guess the next thing that comes into your mind is insects in your house. But lately, it is associated with suicide. Let's talk about it after the break.
As an international blogger, I travel a lot. Canada, India, Times Square, Hollywood.
Shut down New York, and I will be back in India. This tour is going to be fantabulous. I'm telling you the truth. We are shutting down London. But it's been an awesome time hanging out with you. It's time for dance. Hey, you must be on Glow.
Is that your new pickup line?
Glow Super Value Pack. Enjoy more talk time with data and more data with talk time in Nigeria and your favorite international destinations.
Because as a comedian, I like to talk.
So true.
So what do you do? Oh, I'll call you.
Dial *777# to choose a plan.
Governor Yahaya Bello is evidently a man favored. The multitude of friends, party men and women who gathered to witness the flag-off of the gubernatorial campaign of Governor Yahaya Bello, the brand new Ogal Nogwata of Atai Gala, and his amiable Deputy Governor, Chief Edward Onoja, provides a resounding proof. A gathering that has this caliber of people in attendance is indeed a testimony of a man who is well in touch with the appropriate political classes that will further connect Kogi State to the sources of development and prosperity. Today, investors are indicating interest to do business in Kogi State. Kogi is firmly connected to the center that works. The Ajokuta Steel Company is about to witness a dramatic turnaround that will revive the pride and worth of the state. Let's join hands to put Kogi on the national map of development. Vote Yahaya Bello and his deputy, Chief Edward Onoja, a rational choice.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronic and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
I'll spread my wings and fly so high. I'll reach for the stars, yeah, it's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
Bayelsa State Governorship Elections 2019. Are you a resident of Bayelsa State? The Bayelsa State Governorship election will be coming up on Saturday, 16 November 2019, and the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room will be on ground to receive reports and provide accurate, unbiased report of the election. You can send your reports of incidents and observations during the elections to the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room by calling us on 0818-588-8999 or 0909-5050505. Reach us on Twitter at Situation Room NG and on Facebook, Situation Room Nigeria. Our hashtag for the election is hashtag Bayelsa SR 2019. The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, working to improve the electoral process.
Helpline Foundation Nigeria and partners present the 3rd Annual African Women Conference AWC 2019, a gathering of experts, institutions, corporate organizations, and individuals promoting the growth, stability, and development of African women, through which various resources available to African women can be channeled towards the sustainable development of the continent.
Keynote speakers: Dame Paul Talin, Ramatu Tijani Aliu, Madam Magdala Cooper, Binta Masigarba, Karima Ranim, Ibtisame Azal, Dr. Anissa Nagra, veteran Nollywood actors and actresses.
Theme: Building a Coalition to End Gender Inequality in Africa. Dates: 21st to 23rd November 2019. Venue: Kenzi Menara Palace, Marrakesh, Morocco. For participation and inquiries, visit www.africa-womenconference.org or call +234 806 5388 424. AWC: Building an Africa where every woman's potential is fully harnessed. Powered by Helpline Foundation Nigeria, Echoes Africa Initiatives New York, International Center for Diplomacy in Morocco.
Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, cordially invites the general public to the 2019 Abuja Carnival, taking place between 23rd and 25th November 2019. Theme: Culture for Peace. Street Carnival and Opening Ceremony. Saturday, 23rd November 2019. Venue: from Old Parade Ground to Area 1, Abuja. Time: from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Other cultural activities on display are Children's Fiesta at GSS Area 10, Garki, Abuja. Durbar at Kuje Stadium. Boat Regatta at Jabi Dam. Masquerade Fiesta at Government Day Secondary School, Gwagwalada. Traditional Cuisine Fair and Bush Bar at Old Parade Ground. Command Performance and Award Night, as well as Contemporary Music Fiesta at the Old Parade Ground from 23rd to 25th November 2019. Time: from 8:30 p.m. till dawn daily. Deaconess Grace Isu Gekbe, Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Information and Culture, announcer.
Good to have you back on News Extra. Efforts by the federal government to boost agricultural production towards ensuring food security for the nation have suffered a setback as hundreds of hectares of farmlands and residential areas have been submerged by flood in some parts of Benue State. At present, over 20 50 communities are wallowing in pains as they count their losses occasioned by the devastating flood. Godwin Inalegu reports.
Benue State is one of the states that is predicted to experience flooding this year, and that reality has dawned on many communities in Agatu local government area, including over 20 communities living around the riverine areas.
Where we are faring only looks like a river, but it is a rice farm devastated by flood.
There is no way you can harvest rice from a flooded farm like this before the water dries off. Of course, you will not have anything at all to harvest again.
If the water was coming, we will not chook tree or top the sand. If water passed the sand, we will know that the water was coming. I will still remove it to the next front again. That is how we know how the water was coming.
Getting food is something very difficult. And as flooding has eroded every place, we now use sticks, put it on, make a round peg, then we now use sticks to cook on top of that sticks.
Worst hit communities are Oweto, Obishu, Olobaishu, Adana, Igagishu, and Ocholanya. Traditional ruler of Agatu, Chief Godwin Ona, lamented over the plight of his people.
You go from here, right from your way to here, up to Abugbe, Adana, all over. About the 37 villages, their farmlands have been submerged. The only way we can have a permanent solution against this flooding is when River Benue is dredged.
Effort to speak with the Benue State Emergency Management Agency on its response to emergencies failed. However, Chairman Flood Control Committee Dundu Ayire commented on the flood situation.
We went on a serious campaign through the radio, and in the major towns we actually used a megaphone to announce street by street.
For now, their fates are hanging in the balance as they await good gestures from spirited individuals and corporate bodies who might come to their aid.
What you see here is an indication that the entire residents of this community have been displaced. From Oweto in Agatu local government area of Benue State, Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
No, Godwin, that's a very sad and unfortunate incident there. Sorry about that. Then the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has donated some relief materials to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. These materials are for onward distribution to flood-affected communities in Rivers State. Emmanuel Lene reports that the donation of materials is in fulfillment of its corporate social responsibility.
To the Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peter said, the donation of the relief materials, which is in continuation of the agency's corporate social responsibility, is its own way of identifying with the plight of flood-affected communities in the state. He said the materials will be distributed specifically to Opobo, Amdoni, and Taliko government areas to ameliorate the plight of the victims.
We're doing this because we recognize the pain of the people that have been affected by this flood. We're doing this because NIMASA is a socially responsible corporate organization. We're doing it to identify with the people.
Receiving the items on behalf of the DG NEMA, Senior Coordinator of NEMA South, Mr. Walston Brandon, commended NIMASA for identifying with the flood victims, assuring that the items will be distributed as soon as possible.
It's a partner. We have been working together whenever there is disaster response, and today they are here again. We are thanking them. The gratitude is not enough.
The relief materials include mattresses, bags of rice, beans, gari, tubers of yam, vegetable and palm oil, blankets and mosquito nets, cartons of indomie and spaghetti, diapers, sanitary pads, sewing and grinding machine, among other items. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
Close to 4,000 out of the 8,000 internally displaced persons that were initially at the Abagena IDP camp in Benue State have returned to their homes. Authorities at the camp say this is due to the relative peace that has returned to their areas in the state. Charles Abba brings us an update at the Abagena IDP camp, where the remaining inmates, who are also eager to leave, are still grappling with challenges at the camp.
Various camps are being established by the state government to cater for the persons that have been displaced due to herders farmers crisis in the state. One of the camps being established by the state government is the Abagana camp. At the onset of the herders farmers crisis, more than 8,000 displaced persons were accommodated at the Abagana camp. The camp manager, James Yokia, said most of the affected communities have been declared safe.
A lot of them, there are little peace in their places, and they have gone, and some of them have gone to farm, although some of them do come back, but some of them have gone to even to stay with their relatives in some other states, and that's why the number has reduced to now.
The state government, other relevant bodies and individuals have continued to send their contributions for the welfare of the displaced persons, resulting in the provision of health facilities, toilets, and a school. Little Msute here is sick and is being attended to by one of the volunteer health workers. Mr. Benjamin is a father of 8 with a wife.
We thank God because sometimes we have a little food, but now as we don't have, we must go and work for another person before we get the money, we get the food.
Mr. Oshio said he has been in the camp for 3 years and now homesick.
My life, I don't enjoy my life, because the thing where we had to do before, now, as I know there for my compound, now I'm not happy. I try to make God help us to find our way to go in our town.
Savior Francis is also one of the pupils in the IDP camp. Savior, what have you learned today?
I learned English. AK went to hide behind a tree. As AK had here, he saw something shining on the ground. The object was special. The object was special, covered by foreign leaves.
Juliet, Charity, and Godwin are trying their hands on tailoring.
When I know this thing, I'll know how I'll get money, buy my things, and protect myself.
NTA News also gathered that at the moment, 150 of the inmates of the camp are into skills acquisition initiated by a non-governmental organization. From the Abagana camp, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Well, Charles, that's a very touching one, I must say. Now, the fear of aging is one that keeps staring at people in the face. It is a transitory period of maturing that everybody must go through. Some age with the fear of the unknown, while some devise various means to help themselves, since they see no plan for care and support services of those ahead. What are the plans needed by the elderly in the society, and whose responsibility is it to put such plans in place? That is exactly what the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of the Older Persons highlights, to change the narrative and take away the fear of aging. Basi Itaikbang has this report.
Sitting here as senior citizens who have served the nation in various capacities, some held positions that would have made policies that would drive away their fears today regarding aging. The regret and the need to put things right is the basis for the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons to highlight their rights and privileges in the next level. Organized in collaboration with Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, the conference ended with some resolutions.
Government should prioritize and institutionalize the care and well-being of the aged, as well as combating abuse of the older persons.
We want issues of older persons to be on the front burner of every government in Nigeria. Everybody is going to get old. We are all.
The entire resolutions are woven around a secure future for the elderly in Nigeria.
Need the public
to do a lot for us, to channel their philanthropy to assisting elderly people.
For the future generation of this country, everybody will eventually move on that road and get into the age where he or she will be called an older person. And the rights and privileges that we are fighting for now for older persons, the person will now come to enjoy.
Most senior citizens are of the opinion that the future is bright for the elderly. There will be no need for people to falsify their retirement age or indulge in corrupt practices while in service. Basi Taipan, NTA News.
Cases of rape of minors is now one too many, with victims going through a lot of psychological and physical trauma, while the rapist seems to carry on freely. Tessie Omeri, who has been following the case of Khadijat Bashir Dabo, who was raped by a 30-year-old man when she was just 6 months old, unfolds the story.
Khadijat is now 3 years old, and this cry is not because she is hungry or seeking attention like most children do, but simply because she wants to either urinate or pass feces. Khadijat goes through this severe pain, which sometimes lasts for hours, anytime her bowel moves. This challenge is a health condition brought upon her as a result of pedophilia. She was raped by a 30-year-old man when she was just 6 months old on earth. Madam Bashir Dabo, Khadija's father, says it's been over 2 years of traumatic experience for them.
My baby was raped 2017. At that time, she was just 6. We could not identify her problems, but as she's growing now, we started notifying a lot of problems that came in.
Even though the rapist is going about his normal business without harassment, little Khadijat and her parents have known no peace as they traverse the length and breadth of this country in search of help.
The case has been judged, and which the judgment has passed. The court found him, said that he was not guilty. But after that, there is evidence that I also have, which I present. And I wrote an application, take it to Attorney General in Kano. An appeal has been taken.
Dr. Osman Umar, a gynecologist at the State House Medical Center, Abuja, says due to the severe damage of her anus and vagina, series of surgeries will be required in order to avoid further complications.
The thing that can be done to make her, pass through independently, that is with little or no help from anybody, is by surgical procedures that will correct those abdominal connections between the rectum and the vagina, and that between the bladder and the vagina. So what makes intervention at this point a little difficult is the fact that the structures in the pelvis are not well developed, because the child is still growing.
As at the time of filing this report, Khadijat, who normally passes urine through the aid of a catheter, is now a bit stable. Today, Khadijat seemed to be in a happy mood.
A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah, you. That's a little conversation with my dear friend Khadijat Bashir, who aspires to be in school like every other child. But the excruciating pain she goes through from time to time will not permit that, as we're calling on spirited individuals to come to her aid so that little Khadijat will be well again. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
A very, very, very sad one, very unfortunate one. Sorry I'm carrying this face, and a bit tears in my eyes, but it's okay. How I love sugarcane, one of the sweetest gifts by Mother Nature to humanity. Our correspondent on this special report takes a look at this cherished cane.
aṣọ ẹbí àwọn golden accessories. Aṣọ tó bad.
Mommy, is it not too early to be dressed?
Too early, ke? Sure. I don't get side since now.
Okay.
You think I go miss all the small shop and all the rishi?
Mommy.
Shebi na that caterer when they come out, they get side mirror you take. And as for my women group, hey, na KSA or nothing at all.
Yes, now when you get mouth?
You're familiar, Jare. My picking.
Mommy, your is still there, so?
Of course now. Now we the first credit like water. You not trust Glow?
Glow and Maple. Get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555*PIN#.
You want to know where the party they shall let? Start here.
Glow Unlimited.
In peace of mind with an efficient laundry cycle. Feel cooler air even at midday. Enjoy mealtime with food kept fresh all day long. Better inverter, LG inverter.
Every day.
Nestle, good food, good life. New Sensodyne Deep Clean Toothpaste for advanced cleaning and lasting freshness.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. It works.
In a country filled with different and unique kinds of people, there's no such thing as one size fits all for everything, especially sleep. That's why there's a Mocha specially made for you. The Pepperdem Gang, the Mamas, the Daddies, the Papas, the Zaddies, the Fit Fam, and the I cannot come and go and kill myself. Whoever you are, there's a Mocha for you. Visit www.mocha.com.
Welcome back to News Extra. But now we shall pause in Abuja to join Abolade Salami live in Lagos for the business news. Abolade, good evening.
Good evening, Fatima, and welcome to the Business News segment. The creation of new forms of business cooperation between Nigeria and France is to increase the initial trade figure of over 4 billion euros in 2018 and focus on the sustainability of business relations of both trade partners. Consul General of French Embassy in Nigeria said effort by the federal government on the ease of doing business has ranked Nigeria top most 10 improved economies in the world. Nigeria-France business relations have increased over the years as the country remains the 9th largest trade partner in sub-Saharan Africa, with an increase in trade figures from 3.6 billion euros in 2017 to over 4 billion euros in 2018.
The Nigeria government, through the Presidential Enabling Business Council, has already implemented a series of reforms in the last 3 years. And the progression of Nigeria in the latest Ease of Doing Business ranking seems a very good sign. Therefore, French companies are more and more willing to do business in Nigeria, whether for exportations or for investments.
Efforts by the federal government to create an enabling business environment for both domestic and foreign investment to thrive. The Franco-Nigeria Chamber of Commerce and Industry says has resulted in a formidable ecosystem that has created a dynamic platform for smooth business exchange.
In 2019,
2018, we had an amount of 9.4 billion euro invested in Nigeria. Worldwide, Nigeria is now the 23rd destination for French investment, and it's very interesting to mention that Nigeria is just behind Hong Kong.
Business relationship, it has continued to grow. 10 years ago, we had over 60 French companies in Nigeria. Today, we have over 130 companies, French companies in Nigeria. The relationship between France and Nigeria is not just foreign portfolio investment, it is foreign direct investment.
The provision of private equity finance for the development of MSMEs in the country, the Chamber emphasized, will be prioritized. The Association of Securities Dealing Houses of Nigeria plans to start the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange later this month to diversify earnings and income. Managing Director of the association, Akishola Akeredoluale, said the organization is seeking to help its members broaden their source of income as Nigeria's benchmark index declined 17% this year, while trading volumes for 2019 are lagging behind those in the same period for the year 2017 and 2018, according to data compiled by Bloomberg. Akeredoluale said the exchange will begin operating after a final mock exercise scheduled for November 15th. He said at inception, the boss will list contracts on 40 agricultural commodities, including sorghum, millet, and maize, as well as 10 crude oil producers. And let's cross over to the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The Nigerian capital market reversed some of its gain made in previous session as profit taken by mid and large capital stocks drove the index below 26,000 basis points. Here are details of midweek trading.
Trading of stocks at the close of Wednesday's session returned to the red territory as the market dipped by 0.44% to close the all-share index at 26,339.11 basis points. Volume of shares traded stood at 610 million, valued at 11.1 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 5,031 deals, with a market capitalization of 12.8 trillion naira. Zenith Bank led other companies on the gainers table, followed by Guinness and Access, while on the flip side, Total, Dangote Cement and Unilever declined in figures. On sectoral performance, only NSE Banking had a slight push to the green line, appreciating by 0.11%, while other sectors such as NSE Consumer Goods, Industrial, Insurance, and Oil and Gas finished in the red, depreciating by 0.40%, 0.95%, 1.01%, and 1.43%.
That's it on business. It's back to Fatima in Abuja for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Abolade, for the business package. Now, let me ask you, which agricultural commodity in season in many northern states of Nigeria with flourishing markets has earned the superlative reputation as one of the sweetest gifts by Mother Nature to humanity? To find an answer, and perhaps quickly too, is Hamza Musa Magarfi from Lafia with the sweet story of sugarcane, cherished by many as source of food and explored yet by others to promote income generation.
A bundle at plantation cost 1,000 naira and 1,500 at market destination. Close to the bank of Popular, Lapia and Bariba are sailors preparing for the day ahead. Saidu Adamu, 11 years old in the business, does not sing the praise of no money in times like this in Lafia. Cut inside these neatly tender pieces, another seller says, is women's favorite.
Well, among the many benefits of sugarcane is that it has high value in sucrose, fructose, and glucose.
The sailors share big dreams and appreciate their prosperity. To another, reflection with kind, sweet words for doing business in Nasarawa State, having come from other parts of Nigeria. Soon, the journey to hawk and attract buyers in town begins, depending on appetite and the sweet effect in conversation. Oral tradition among some communities like this in Lafia, which is the custodian of sugarcane, say it is mythical, arising from sugarcane chewing.
There's no one that can take sugarcane and at the same time saying things that is on the road. Yes. You must have to divert to another way. Yes.
In addition to the popularity of local sugarcane variety, a new vista is on the horizon by government encouraging private sector participation on industrial sugarcane cultivation.
The government has a roadmap, that is a sugar master plan, which I think government are working towards banning the importation of sugarcane into Nigeria by the year 2023.
Sugarcane, as aptly captured in a saying, whether squeezed, shredded or grinded, it will still make a swift impact on the economic development and well-being of the people of Nasarawa State. In Lafia, Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
I'm salivating here though. Well, the high value in sucrose, fructose and glucose is a good one, and I say kudos to what the government is doing about sugarcane. Now, providing health diet and ensuring oral hygiene for children are some of the things parents must do to ensure the risk of Noma disease is averted. This was the crux of a sensitization campaign organized by Tolaram Group to combat Noma disease in Sokoto. Musa Abubakar reports.
What started as a sore in the gum in the mouth of 14-year-old Umar Aliu is now a confirmed case of Noma.
The causes is actually malnutrition, first of all, and poor oral hygiene. These are the main causes. The lack of immunization, because if the immunity is okay, Noma disease will not emerge, honestly speaking.
The disease is said to affect mostly children between the ages of 2 to 16 years, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa. Without treatment, affected persons die of severe dehydration and nutrition with as much as 90% mortality rate. The risk factors are poverty, malnutrition, poor oral hygiene, and infectious diseases, particularly measles. But the disease is preventable. This informed the campaign by Tolerant Group, makers of Colgate toothpaste, in collaboration with health actors to enlighten school children on measures to prevent the disease.
Able to teach the children that, okay, you need to brush your teeth. You need to take oral hygiene very, very seriously. And also in the part of malnutrition, these are the major causes of Noma. If they are aware, but a little minimal amount of maybe 1,000 naira, they can be treated with antibiotics, and then of course you have to train them on how to continue on good nutrition. Now to other factors such as immunization.
The National Council of Health has approved for this disease condition to be taken seriously and given more attention with the hope of eradicating it in Nigeria.
Plans are underway by the group to extend the campaign to the grassroots as well as other states in the country.
And for the children.
In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And from Sokoto, we'll take you to Ibadan. In keeping with the promise of making life better for its esteemed customers, Global Communications Limited is giving life, enhancing prices to its customers. The popular Bodija market in Ibadan played host to the fourth in the series.
Hundreds of faithful customers of the Glo Mobile Network converged on Bodija Market for the official presentation of prizes to winners in the ongoing Glo Win Big promo. Customers who won tricycles, generating sets, grinding machines and industrial sewing machines went away with their gifts. 400-level public health undergraduate of the Oshu State University was among the winners.
I was at home that very day. I just got the call from one-to-one that I won a keke napep. I told my friend and they said it's a scam. them this scam?
Yeah, I bought their SIM card last month. And I've been continuing, been recharged on the phone, on my phone.
The telecommunications company noted that the initiative is part of its effort at giving back to the society and bringing more Nigerians out of poverty.
Coming to the Glow family by getting a Globacom SIM. Again, after that, you begin to participate. It's open to everybody. Just recharge 200 naira.
We want to touch thousands of lives, empower as many Nigerians as possible.
Live draw was also held openly with Glow brand ambassadors and other stakeholders authenticating the process.
Globacom is the best when it comes to telecommunication in this country presently now.
To make sure things are done properly, so far is very, very transparent.
Globacom promised continued commitment to the drive through more draws in the promo to give chances to its subscribers to emerge winners across the country. In Ibadan, Kemi.
Thank you, Kemi.
Get to make Nigerians aware of the importance of NEWA, of what NEWA can do, and how we all can assist in making NEWA achieve its full potentials.
He said, based on his knowledge about the agencies, he is confident that the agency's potentials, if properly utilized, is capable of turning around the economic fortunes of Nigeria. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
In another development, the National Industrial Court sitting in Abuja has warned members of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria not to disrupt public peace while the court hears the dispute over leadership tussle in the association. The presiding judge, Justice Olufunke Anunwe, gave the order this Wednesday when members of the trade union appeared before the court. Olabode Arewa reports.
The dispute arose early this year when the National Executive Committee of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria allegedly suspended its president, Esu Erio, and replaced him with Musa Mohammed, his deputy. Esu Erio, through his counsel, Afolabi Olaiwola, obtained an interlocutory injunction to stop Musa Mohammed from being recognized as the president of the union. Musa Mohammed, along with 6 others, also approached the court, praying to be recognized as the authentic leaders in line with Article 13 of the union's constitution. Counsel to Musa Mohammed, Sule Shaibu, informed the court of the difficulties in serving the court processes on the defendants. In addressing the issue, the court temporarily set aside Order 9 of its rules and ordered that the court processes be served on the parties in the open courts. In its argument, Sule Shaibu told the court that Erio's motion was incompetent as he had ceased to represent the union.
Our claims is simply that our client, Alhaji Musa Mohammed, is the sitting president of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria.
The case has been adjourned
extra touch on NTA. Still to come, the unveiling of Eco Jobs Center in Lagos. Please stay tuned.
Strongest, no challenge can stop us, so Lord. Let most of the goodness fuel your greatness. Let's go.
When be saying now today or 4 days when my girls won't come visit me, I need to come go expire.
Oh my guys, they can't follow me watch this match. I must not fall the hand. Every long.
Babe, what's happening now? Sorry to disappoint you, but my subscription don't expire.
The match is not on my GoTV package.
Now your holla be that. I beg, give me your phone. Make I show you how you go take do it for my GoTV app for your phone.
Life is so much easier with my GoTV app. Make payments, clear error messages, change your package. You can also check your due dates and keep abreast of your payment history. With the corner, the new My GoTV app is everything you need in one place. So what are you waiting for? Download My GoTV app now from Google Play or App Store to enjoy the easy life. GoTV. Live it, love it.
This year, like every other year, for over a decade, we celebrate and reward African creatives around the world at the African Academy Awards ZAFA 2019 in Abuja, Nigeria. The second homecoming event is a 3-day gathering of industry stakeholders and enthusiasts to network as well as encourage and motivate budding talents. The movie screenings, exhibitions, and masterclasses will hold at the Silverbird Galleria on the 22nd to 23rd November 2019. The awards and gala night on the 24th of November 2019 at the prestigious Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja. For inquiries and sponsorship, advert placements, and tickets, call the following numbers on your screen now or visit the ZAFA 2019. Come expecting the unexpected.
Thanks for staying tuned. The issue of unemployment is one that stares the world's governments in the face, Nigeria inclusive, though corruption has been blamed for the prevalence of unemployment in Nigeria. Offering trainings and development programs to job seekers will not empower the right candidates for the jobs, but drastically increase productivity in Nigeria. Daniels reports that this was the submission of human resources experts while unveiling an initiative called Eco Jobs Center in Lagos.
Available statistics by the National Bureau of Statistics reveals that more than 100,000 Nigerians, mostly youths, graduate from tertiary institutions yearly. Sadly, only very little number of them gain employment, with some underemployed. What still is that some who would have gained employment do not have the expected know-how, so that even when employed, they perform below expectations. It is therefore to bridge this gap that the Eco Job Center was established to groom job seekers and make them employable.
We need to train them in soft skills, critical thinking, management, accounting, financial literacy, and also we need to take care of the certification and standardization of the kind of jobs that they do.
Already, a pilot program has commenced in Osho, the local government area of the state.
What we're trying to do is to say, or see how we can put a bill into law whereby we can encourage inhabitants or employers of labor within Lagos State government to provide a certain quota of the employment to our job boards within the Ministry of Employment and Wealth Creation.
We're determined that every resident of Lagos and every good resident of Lagos that's willing to live within the laws of Lagos will get the support of the government to find the jobs that they need to actualize themselves.
The Eco Job Center is aiming to deploy 20 40-foot prefabricated hubs across local government areas of the state. This is to serve as direct contact points to to job seekers in Lagos. This initiative, observers optimistic, will bridge the unemployment gap in Lagos and by extension, Nigeria. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Wow, that's a good one. Now, Nigeria is currently ranked the 7th most populous country in the world, and the youth population, according to the National Youth Policy, represents 35.6%. The implication of this on socio-economic policies and agenda is that the growing population of youths needs to acquire quality education and skills to contribute to the productive economy. This therefore implies that there is the need to invest in young people. However, for the year 2019, the African Union has decided to dedicate the whole month to the commemoration of the African Youth Day, tagged 1 million by 2021. Count me in. Olainka Ojo reports.
In the past, investigations have revealed that many African countries, in their quest for sustainable development, have invested substantially in infrastructure and economic reforms, while paying little attention to human development. It is to change this narrative that the African Union is dedicating the whole month of November to the commemoration of African Youth Day with the theme 1 million by 2021. Count me in.
If I'm to do something to be included in this 1 million youth, is to come up with an agricultural program.
Because this is actually a smaller initiative under an agenda called Agenda 2063.
This is driven by the desire to mobilize at least 1 million young Nigerians towards having the chance to be among several million young Africans who will benefit from direct opportunities in the areas of education, employment, entrepreneurship, and engagement.
To assure the youth that as we go into our long-term development plan, that we are going to have the youth as a critical stakeholder to be engaged.
We are also looking towards creating mentorship programs in politics.
We are going to collaborate in terms of wealth creation through the deployment of technology.
For Nigeria, it is double celebration as the day also saw the launch of the pocket-sized national youth policy.
There's something for everyone. Clearly, by setting out this blueprint in the national youth policy and the app, we are creating guidelines and a framework for engagement in terms of employment, entrepreneurship, digital skills, and leadership.
With this initiative plugging into the Empower and similar programs under the Social Investment Program targeted towards the youth, in the next 2 years, on the deal, it is the federal government's intention to equip about 200,000 youths with basic, intermediate, and advanced digital skills in the areas of web design and management, software training, artificial intelligence, app development, mobile device repair, coding, and data processing. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Thanks, Olainka. What can make a man commit suicide? Have you ever thought of this? Well, however, World Population Review puts Nigeria's suicide rate at 9.5%. 100,000 persons and 20% cases attributed to the use of pesticides such as sniper. The question is, what is being done by the regulatory agencies? And the good news is that NAFDAC has outrightly banned the 100mm bottle of sniper, as it will soon embark on enforcement. Aisha Uba Ali in this special report takes a look at the situation.
Sniper, a known effective but restricted pesticide, has been used for pest control to combat insects in conventional and biotech systems. Of recent, however, when the name sniper is mentioned, what comes to mind is different, as it has moved from serving as pesticide for insect control at farms, farmhouses, and silos with a specific warning meant for outdoor use, to a tonic to ending one's life. Sniper is said to be the most abused chemical. Videos of young people committing suicide with sniper on social media space almost became a regular occurrence. The mood at the home of the Ewekas is still of sober, where Lakungwe Eweka, a 38-year-old man, has put his family in a mourning state. They are still in shock and confused as the deceased left no clue for his actions despite not being the first attempt.
Ya taɓa yayi shi sau ɗaya. Yin da yayi shi a lokacin an tambaye shi ba abin da bai iya ya ce ba komai kawai.
But the way I understand the person in question, when he have any challenge as in financial or any other decision, he don't normally relate.
Associated with several of our organs, the heart and the lungs, and then it can stop immediate breathing, and that's why it kills, suddenly.
The increasing number of people taking their lives with sniper prompted NAFDAC to place a ban on the product and intensified regulations of chemicals in an attempt to stop abuse and misuse. While this is seen as a welcome development for the Awakers, sniper will remain a product they will keep distance from due to the pains and sorrow it has brought to the family. In Abuja, Aisha Obaali, NTA News.
You're still watching News Extra, and up next is Sport and Thursday's weather.
You are about to witness the commencement of the most stimulating and compelling contest on television. This contest is only for the strong, the intelligent, and the talented. Get ready for the Unity Challenge reality TV show. Coming soon.
Welcome back. The Namibian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Humphrey Kasem, says there is no Nigerian in Namibian prison and diaspora voting will